What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Crowder Lake. Today we're reading Our Song by ineedofsleep on Wattpad. If you'd like to check out the book or the author, check in the description below. Thank you for clicking on the video, and now let's move on with Chapter 9. Chapter 9. Remy. Roman's point of view. We arrived at school after a lot of fighting with Remus about listening to Hamilton or Beetlejuice. We ended up fighting so much we didn't listen to anything we wanted, and Dad just put on the campfire song from SpongeBob. After we got there, instead of running off to annoy God only knows who, Remus stuck by my side and followed me to the courtyard, where I met up with Emil and Timothy. "Where's Joan?" "They said that they were sick, but told us to interrogate you more," Thomas said. "Why's Remus here?" "I want to interrogate Roman and meet his fuckboy." "Hey!" I covered Emil's ears. "No cussing around the innocent, and he isn't my fuckboy. He's my soulmate that doesn't even like me." I uncovered M's ears and glared at my brother. I waited for a moment, but they didn't ask any questions until, "Oh my god, you guys could be like Sepler and Ruby!" Minus the fusion part. "Wouldn't that be cute?" Emil started fanboying while Thomas thought it was over and started squealing with him. "So, Roman, you gonna win over your fuckboy, or are you just gonna hope he likes snow and marry you?" Remus put an arm around my shoulders and used me for some sort of support. "I'm not so sure he likes soulmates." Remus nodded a bit, and we looked back to see Em and Tom still talking about Steven Universe. "Well, you two stop this. How about you bother Remus about his song? He hasn't found his soulmate, so you could ship him with whoever you want." They stopped talking and looked at us. I heard Thomas mumble something about really looking like twins, but otherwise they didn't say anything. "What are they doing?" Remus whispered to me. "I don't know. They go silent sometimes like this. Usually Joan is the bring them back to life." He nodded and looked around. "Soulmate, 4 o'clock. I looked up where he was staring and saw the same 2 boys from yesterday. Virgil was talking to the other one. I really need to learn his name. It looked more like a one-way conversation, though. "Let's go, bro." He started pulling me with him towards my soulmate, leaving Emil and Thomas, who were talking about God only knows what. I started. "No, I don't know you. I don't like you. Leave me alone, or I will kill you." He started walking away, but the others stayed behind. "So, you're Virgil's soulmate? Don't mind him. He just had some bad experiences with soulmates." He sighed and looked down at the pavement. "So, he's not going to kill Roman?" I quickly jabbed my elbow into Remus's stomach. "Oh no, he will kill you with no hesitation. Try not to die. 'Kay, babes?" Without our answer, he started walking in the direction Virgil left. "They sound fun." Remus smiled as he let go of me. "I'll win him over." "How?" I don't need to tell you." Remus shrugged and started walking into the school, with me following after I saw we only had a minute to get to class. Magical time skip. I walk over to the table with Emil and Thomas. They smiled innocently, and I immediately know something's wrong. "Hey, Rome," Thomas starts. "What did you do?" Emil starts squealing, and Thomas' grin grows. "Nothing. Just a little something." I sigh and try not to think of all the things I could have done in the classes I don't have them with. I sit down next to Em and start eating my sandwich. They just stare at me with the same stupid smiles. Something is obviously going wrong. I slouch in my seat for a moment, but they still don't say anything. "Secret series are no fun. Tell me now or else we're done." "Fine," Emil giggled. "You know those episodes where the friends set up a character with someone by inviting those people places with them?" "You didn't?" "Technically, yes." Thomas rested his head on his hands and looked at the doors for a moment. I told him he was welcome to join us for lunch. He didn't totally turn it down, but he never agreed to it, so don't get your hopes up. I don't think that'll be a problem. He probably is not going to join us. I sighed, but silently hoped that was a lie. What? Why? Emile questioned. This morning, he just flat out said he didn't like me, or soulmates in general, so I really doubt he's going to just willingly... Remus makes an entrance! What's up, homos? Remus jumped over the table and sat where Joan would sit. Join us? I doubt he would willingly join us. I finished my thought. Why wouldn't he like soulmates? Everyone I know loves soulmates. Timothy, you poor, annoying soul. Wait, I don't even know why. He might know someone who had a bad experience, or perhaps his parents left each other because they were not soulmates. There are many reasons why someone wouldn't like them, Emile explained. Roman, why are you hanging out with another dad? This one sounds just like Papa, Remus pointed out. I can hang out with whoever I want, Remus. Well, sorry for asking. Why did this one act like Papa? Don't question my friends, Duke. I can question whatever I want, Prince. What's going on? I heard Emile whisper. Idiot. Sibling stuff, Thomas whispered back. Stupid head, mosquito food. Don't you dare reference Lilo and Stitch. I can reference whatever I want. Ohana, family. No one gets left behind or forgotten. We looked at each other and burst out laughing. I'll never understand what it's like to have siblings, Emile sighed. What's going on here? A voice came from behind us. I looked behind me and saw a boy in dark purple and a boy in a leather jacket. Ha! Told you he would show! Thomas pointed at me. I was about to respond before Virgil cut me off. I never agreed to this. He forced me to socialize. He pointed to his brother and looked ready to walk away at any second. Well, if it isn't Virgil Vanta, the famous bastard. Remus got us and walked towards him. I am Remus Kingsley. Let me guess, you want to go to Pig Farms, but you can't because it's on Mars? Virgil retorted. Oh, I like this one. Remus turned back to face me and clapped his hands. Virgil glared at me before turning and talking to the other one. Why does he hate me so much? Like he said before, he doesn't know me. I made it my goal to woo him, but how am I supposed to do that if he already doesn't like me? I can't be that bad. I looked back at the two of them to see the older one sighing and shaking his head. Virgil groaned and started walking toward the field. Sorry about him. He doesn't really like anything. He turned towards us, but I couldn't tell if he was looking at us or behind us where Virgil ran off. Does he have anything that's bugging him or mental issues we should know about him? Like anxiety, depression, PTSD? Emile asked. I ain't gonna out my brother, but he does have some stuff going on in his brain. We both do, but I'm not one to gossip. Really? You look like you would love to hear some rumors or something. Remus laughed as he sat down between me and Emile. Don't assume. He lowered his sunglasses and seemed to examine all of us before continuing. But if we are assuming, I'm guessing, he pointed to Emile. You're like the therapist and want to know how to help? He pointed at Remus. You're a fucking gremlin. Then Thomas. Friendliest friend that people will never befriend. Then he pointed at me. Princely. Believes that soulmates always live for each other. Disney fanatic. And all of you are gay. I couldn't do anything but stare in shock. He got all the basics down for all of us. We barely spoke to him, and he guessed the basic part of our personality just like that. He smirked and walked over to sit beside Thomas. Oh yeah, I'm Remy, by the way. Thomas, Remus, Roman, and Emile. Thomas pointed to us with our respective names. Joan's out sick. Joan? You mean that other one that looked like he was about to start filming what happened yesterday? The one with the beanie? Yeah, that's them. Also, the beanie's name is Marco. Remy nodded and looked behind to where Virgil ran off. You could barely see him, but Virgil was sitting under a tree with his knees up to his chest. I felt a pain in my heart seeing him like that, and wanted to walk over to him to help, but didn't. Why, you may ask? Because he doesn't like me. Oh shit, I better make sure he's okay. Remy started getting up. Before he left, I called out to him. Remy? Yeah, girl? What happened to make him hate soulmates so much? He went silent for a moment before taking out a pen and walking back over to the table. He wrote something on the paper before handing it to Emile. This one seems responsible enough. Here's my number. Let him find out from V himself, but you seem like you could help, cutie. I heard Remy talking just above a whisper before winking and walking away. What the frick just happened? Chapter 10. Remy. Virgil's point of view. I slowly woke up to my alarm and looked around. That's weird. I thought I fell asleep in Remy's room. I threw my legs over the edge of my bed and started trying to rub the sleep from my eyes. Wait. Remy didn't wake me up. What kind of witch fuckery is this? I stood up and walked around my room and down the hall to my brother's room. I knocked on the door before opening it a bit. Remy was still lying on his bed, but he was awake. I walked over to him and sat down on the edge of the bed. We didn't say anything for a while before he broke the silence. I'm sorry for worrying you, Virg. He trailed off and I fixed my gaze to be looking at him. It's fine, Rem. You sure you want to go to school today, though? He said and moved so he was sitting up. Yeah, I'll be fine. I nodded a bit before standing up and walking back towards the door. Love you, Rem. I love you too, babes. I left and walked back to my room. Later on that day, I handed a Pop-Tart to Remy as we got in the car. He thanked me, and we let whoever was driving this time, Max, I think, drive us to school. We got out of the car, and I attempted to talk to Remy. You sure you want to do this? I could always call Father to let you stay home. I'll be fine, Virg. Don't be so worried. It was just some memories that got to me. Besides, I'm Remy Vanta. I'm basically a god. So, God, what are you gonna do to prove your godship over us? He smirked as we walked through the gates of the school and put his hands up. Begone, peasants! And bow before me. I am God. Everyone looked over at us like we were crazy, but quickly cleared a small line after seeing who we were. Having a crime boss dad is good for something. Does that prove I'm God? He smirked. No, but it does prove that people are afraid of us killing them. He chuckled and looked behind me. Hey, Virg, isn't that your soulmate? He pointed and I turned around. Look at this guy again. Ha! Nope, not dealing with this. No, I do not know you. I do not like you. Leave me alone, or I will kill you. And with that, I walked towards the doors of the school. I looked back to see my brother talking to him and someone else. I know my brother. I know that he said something about the incident. I know he knows I don't like soulmates because of that reason. And I know I should stop saying I know before it gets old and all of you just decide to skip this. He started walking towards me with a flattering smile. I looked at him before we walked into the school, not saying a word. Another time skip. I walked down the halls while some kids looked at me. It could be the fact of who my father was, or the thing that happened on Monday. Either way, I didn't care. They all needed to mind their own damn business and not stare at me. Hey, someone called. They probably weren't talking to me, so I continued walking. Virgil! I lifted my head and looked around. A boy ran up to me. He looked about my age, but was way too cheery to be into high school. Hi! Hi? I I looked at the kid again, just to make sure this guy was actually talking to me. Excuse me, who are you? Thomas Sanders. I was wondering if you would like to join me and my friends for lunch. You don't have to, but it would be cool if you did. He smiled, and I started walking beside him to my next class. Who are your friends, and why do you want me to sit with you? Protection? Money? What? No, I don't want anything. See, my friend is your soulmate, and... Wait, you're friends with that guy? I mumbled and stopped at the door of my classroom. What was that? Nothing, just... I gotta get to class. I turned around before he could push the topic and walked into the boring history class. Time skip. Remy somehow talked me into going over to their table, and now I'm scared, and I don't know why. This better not be because of that stupid soulmate thing. Why does life hate me? First, I have to go to an actual school with people. Second, I have to go to some stupid soulmate class that I don't pay attention in. Third, I find my soulmate. And fourth, the soulmate is a dude that is obviously some kind of Disney prince. Anyways, we were walking up to the same table that they were sitting at when that happened. And something weird was going on. Two of them were almost standing on the table shouting at each other while the other two looked like this was something that happened often. What's going on here? I asked. Everyone immediately looked at us. Shit. Mental breakdown time. Whoop! Wow. If it isn't Virgil Vanta, the famous bastard. One of the people that came up to me this morning said. I was about to point out that he saw me earlier, but... Was that a Potter musical reference I heard? Let me guess. You want to go to Pig Farts, but can't because it's on Mars. Oh, I like this guy. He turned around and started clapping. What the hell is up with this guy? I ignored it and turned to the person that told me I needed to interact with other life forms. Why did we do this? Because he's your soulmate and I don't want you to end up like me. He simply stated, I don't need a soulmate. Mom's soulmate died before she met him. Father never had one, and you grew up half of your life without one. The words came out of my mouth before I could stop myself, and after they did, I realized I fucked up. He stayed silent for a bit before taking off his sunglasses to reveal that he was on the verge of tears. Mom and Father may have not had their soulmates, but that does not mean we can't. And I may have lost Isaac, but I still loved him, and I miss him every goddamn day. So I don't care if you feel like you don't want one, but you need him. I won't stand and watch my brother give up the biggest part of his life just because I'm a sad sack of shit. A tear rolled down his face, and he immediately wiped it away. I'm sorry, Rem. I didn't mean to bring him up. It's fine. He sewed his sunglasses back on and adjusted his jacket a bit. It's not fine. I brought up bad memories and I feel bad. Remy sighed and shook his head. I wish I knew what was going on in his head. Remy's point of view. I'm really fucking depressed and I ran out of coffee. Back to Virgil's point of view. He didn't say anything, so I groaned and started walking away. I don't really know where I was going. I just needed to get away from people. I ended up sitting under a tree somewhere. Remy stayed behind with the other human life, but I'm too depressed to care. I pulled out my phone and quickly typed in the password. I started humming something while I scrolled through the pictures. I quickly clicked on one that looked fine and I looked at it. Still humming the unknown song. The picture was of 4 people. One was wearing a black button-up with an undone lilac tie. He was smiling while leaning in so he could fit in the frame. His brown hair was a bit of a mess, but not as messy as the boy's hair in front of him. His purple eyes actually showed happiness, unlike now. The boy he was holding had a black shirt on with white words spelling out, "Bedtime is not real." His hair was a bit messy, but that was because he had just woken up from a nap. He, unlike the man, had silver eyes. He looked about 8 years old in the picture, and he looked as happy as any child that had an amazing home and amazing family would. There was one more boy in the picture. His dark brown hair was carefully combed away from his face to show his eyes that were called beautiful so many times, even when he never believed it. He wore a purple sweater and had the brightest smile of them all. The woman that was holding him had beautiful black hair that was pulled back in a braid. Her silver eyes reflected against whatever light was showing. She was wearing a lilac dress and a beautiful silver necklace. Her smile was by far the most beautiful between the four of them. A tear fell on my screen. I quickly wiped my face. "What are you humming?" I looked up and saw Remy looking down at me with a sad smile. He slowly crouched down like I had done so many times before and looked at the screen. He sat down beside me and pulled me into a side hug. "Hey, do you think we could buy a human? Not as a slave or anything, just someone to hang out with." "Oh yeah, Father says he's getting us a bodyguard or some shit for school." I said it without looking up from my phone. "Wait, what? Why didn't the Raiders fucking tell me?" "What?" Nothing." Chapter 11. Elmo Disposal. No point of view. Roman was almost home from school. It was Friday, so his family was going to have their weekly onesie night. Tonight was Roman's turn to choose a movie, and he couldn't wait to watch Maleficent. He turned the corner leading to his street and stopped. When he saw a bunch of cars and a guillotine? He made his way down the street and saw his twin standing on the roof with a crowd of people on the ground looking up at him. "Off with his head!" Remus screamed, pointing towards the guillotine. Not always the bad guy. "Prepare the basket. Lonely non-binary, grab the casket. Unicorn fangirl 34, grab the gasoline. Edgy space prince, get the What the hell, Remus? What's going on? Who are these people?" Roman yelled as he pushed through the crowd. "Well, you wanted me to get rid of that Elmo doll, and the readers wanted to help. You should be more specific if this isn't what you wanted," Remus said, sitting down and dangling his legs off the edge of the roof, watching a few people carry the Elmo doll out of their house. "What if Dad and Father sees?" "It'll be fine. Papa's on some business trip this weekend, and Dad is working at the cafe late tonight. This'll be over before he gets home. Now go. There's a lot of work to be done." Remus waved off Roman, but the fanciful boy didn't move. "ILL blackmail you. Bring my brother inside. He has to prepare movie night." Said person walked out from the crowd and started pushing Roman inside while whispering to him about something called Princiety? What? Remus smiled as the Elmo doll that had mangled long ago was being dragged to the guillotine. Although the doll's arms were barely connected by a few strings and one of its eyes were missing, Remus thought that if he was going to dispose of it, he would do it properly. My Cash took the doll and locked it in place to the beheaded by the large blade hanging over it. "How do we even get this thing here?" someone asked from the crowd. "Shh! This is fanfic. Anything could happen," another answered. "Executioner? It's time." Remus smiled like a child on Christmas as he watched the person writing all this shit pull the rope, raising the blade and waiting for the signal from Quinn the Dreamer 50 to drop it. They gave the signal, and the blade came crashing down. BTS Ships 2005 picked up the head from the basket and raised it in the air. The crowd started cheering as Remus jumped up and down on the roof and made his way over to the casket. "Onwards! Drop the body in the casket. Stick the head on a stake and let us set it on fire as we drop it off the cliff. That is irony here for this chapter and will probably be forgotten about until the author rereads this and puts it in a future chapter." Everyone made their way to the cars around the house, with those who know how to drive getting in the driver's seat. Before Remus could get into the car himself, Roman came running out of the house. "Remus, who are these people and what are you doing now?" "You're no fun," he mumbled, barely audible to Roman. These bitches are the people that volunteered to help me get rid of the devil. We're on our way to burn it and send it off a cliff. Remus. Yes. You're crazy. Oh, thank you, my dear brother. Do you want to come? You're not driving, right? No. Anna's driving. Me and Pet and Cake 33 will be making sure Elmo does not come back to life. Remus pointed behind him to the person getting the driver's seat of one of the many cars parked in front of the house. Roman sighed and shook his head. I'm coming with you. I don't trust you enough to come back alive or keep everyone here alive. Well, most of them are depressed anyway, but you could come to stop them from jumping off the fictional cliff. Roman ignored the fact that his brother thinks this is fictional, followed by Remus as they made their way to the car and watched as some vehicles started driving down the road to a nearby cliff. Roman turned around to the basket to see Remus and another person watching over the casket with knives in hand. He turned backwards in the road and looked at the car ahead of them. You know, everyone here really thinks you and Virg would look good together, the driver said without taking their eyes off the road. How do you know about Virgil? And aren't you a little young to drive? The driver sighed and shook her head. You have no idea how hard it is to make a Phineas and Ferb reference right now. And don't worry about how I, the author, know. Roman looked at her with a questioning face as they came to a stop at a nearby cliff. Bro, hurry the fuck up. You're gonna miss the show. Patton's onesie is already pouring the gas. Remus shouted as he made his way through the crowd to the cliffside, abandoning his thoughts. Roman made his way to his brother, occasionally hearing whispers about something called Sanders signs, like WTF, or people making a Vine reference about a little girl doing what Remus did to poor Elmo before all this. The beheaded doll was soon set on fire and dropped into the watery abyss as everyone watched it fall. Soon afterwards, the crowd watched as Shipping Potato 18 set a piece of wood holding the head of the now long-dead fire. Everyone returned to the cars and drove back down into the town. It was about 5 o'clock now, and everyone had to return back to their screens to watch for the next update for the fix they were reading. Remus waved goodbye to the last car as it drove off and walked back inside to his brothers staring at the ceiling while laying on their couch. You want a Pop-Tart while you rethink life? Chapter 12. Demetrius? Roman's point of view. It's been a week. I've tried talking to Virgil, but he just ignores me. Does he really hate soulmates so much as to completely ignore his own? I wish I knew why he doesn't like them. Maybe I could fix it. Remy came to our table a few times, but he refuses to tell me why the emo nightmare doesn't like soulmates. Whenever I bring it up, he just acts like he didn't hear me or try to change the topic. Emil has also been acting weird. He's been acting more quiet when it's just Thomas, Joan, and I, but when Remy or anyone else is around, he just acts like his usual cartoon-loving therapist friend self. I need to talk to him. Roman! I looked up to see Remus standing at the end of my bed. Finally, fuck, I've been trying to get your attention for the last few minutes now. Stop staring at the ceiling, it's dinner time. I sighed and sat up. Remus, have you noticed anything weird lately? I talking about the whiteboard under my mattress that holds the plans for the book because the author can't remember shit, but she'll probably abandon anyway, 'cause fuck the police? What? Never mind. I'm talking about everyone. Emil's quieter. Remy's avoiding the questions about Virgil and why he doesn't like soulmates. Virgil's constantly walking across the hall or courtyard just to ignore me, and I'd even mention everyone bowing down to Remy whenever he goes. Remus stayed silent for a moment. Nope. Come on, we're having mac and cheese tonight. He walked out of the room, leaving me sitting in my bed. I sighed again and walked to the dining room. Roman, you're never this late for dinner. Is something upsetting you? Father asked. Well, besides what Remus said on Friday, just that everyone's acting a bit weird. I responded without looking up from my plate. Weird? How so? Also, what did Remus do on Friday? What I did on Friday? I just read an extra chapter to find out. And Roman's just talking about Emil, talking less. Remy isn't telling him something his soulmate doesn't like about him, and everyone is in damn school is literally bowing down to Remy. Remus explained. I still don't understand why he keeps talking about chapters, readers, or some author, but he's so weird. Who is Remy? Father asked. My first guess would have been him being Roman's soulmate, but you talked as if his soulmate is a different person, so I am only to assume Remy is another kid at your school? Don't assume anything about Remy, I said, referring to when he first introduced himself. It gets scary. He had a questioning look, but soon brushed it off. So, this soulmate, they don't like you? No, I sighed. Oh, it'll be okay, kiddo. I'm sure they'll love you when they get to know you, Dad said, in his usual happy self. I hope so. Time skip to the next day at school. Remus won't leave me alone. He's been bugging me about something this whole morning. I don't even know what he's talking about anymore. He started the morning when I woke up by talking about something weird that happened on one of his 2 in the morning strolls. Something about a raccoon eating a squirrel. Hey, Roman! I looked to see Joan, Emil, and Thomas waving over at me. How was your weekend? Thomas asked. It was okay, not much except for Friday's thing, I answered. Emil looked at me with a questioning face as Remus burst out into a fit of giggles. It's nothing I can't explain. They seemed to question that for a moment before Joan looked as if they remembered something important. Guys! Remy stopped laughing as we looked at them. We're getting a new student today. Okay, but what does that have to do with us? Remus asked. Wait, is it planning for something? He whispered barely loud enough for me to hear. I don't know, just thought you guys would want to hear about that a bit. Talon told me about them. They shrugged. Wait. You know, this could be any of your 3 soulmates, right? I pointed to Thomas, Emil, and to my twin. None of them have met their soulmate yet, apart from Joan, who had met Talon in freshman year, and none of them seemed to be talking about it since Virgil came. In all honesty, Emil didn't seem to care after meeting Remy. Oh, yeah, Timothy smiled. I wonder what mine's like. I bet they're amazing. And he went into a daydream mode. Great. And now he's humming a song. That reminds me. I've had the song stuck in my head for a while now, and I don't know what to think of it. I've tried looking up the lyrics, but Google failed me. I then thought of the chance I might have another soulmate, but the research I've done told me that even if a person were to have more than one soulmate, they would all still share a single song. I doubt it's any of our soulmates. What are the chances you meet your soulmate and one of us meets ours? I don't think I'll meet mine, and if I did, I really doubt they would want to put up with me. I mean, you barely want to put up with me. Oh, come on, don't think that. I love you, little bro. I pulled him into a side hug and laughed. You're only older than me by a few minutes, he laughed. Hey, Remus, Thomas snapped out of his daydream. Why haven't you ever mentioned your soulmate? For the longest time I've known you two. You never said anything about your soulmate. Well, it's true. Remus has never talked about his soulmate in front of others. When we were younger, about 7 or 8, we would just sit in our Disney onesies and talk about what we thought our soulmates would be like. But he never said a word when we were around anybody else. Not even our dads. He looked to Remus to see him acting the same as whenever anyone besides me would ask him about his soulmate. Nothing. A speck of emotion. I just told you that they aren't going to like me. And besides, Why would I care about my soulmate twin? The author refuses to write angst for their favorite characters. Again, with this Arthur bullshit. We are not having a repeat of Friday. That was way too weird. I regret hugging him now. Arthur? Like Gravity Falls? Emil questioned. Time skip. Demetrius Dylan, get back here with my jacket! I heard from yelling down the hall. Not on my soulmate's dead body, another voice yelled before someone bumped into me. I looked down to see someone, maybe a year younger than me. He was wearing a yellow beanie that matched his black and yellow Nirvana shirt and yellow high tops. He was holding a black and purple wait. Is that Virgil's coat? I'll take that. Virgil came and grabbed his jacket out of the boy's hands and looked up at me. Thanks for being in the way, Roman. I'll take that as a compliment. Don't think too far into it. I still don't want to deal with you. Progress is progress, I smiled. Progress? You're actually talking to me. He let out a little laugh and slid his coat on. He then held out his hand to the boy that was still on the floor. The boy brushed himself off and looked at me with a quizzical expression. He looked me up and down before whispering something to Virgil. Before he could respond, a green blur ran from down the other side of the hall and stopping at us. I heard screaming? My annoyingly hyper twin yelled. Then out of nowhere he screamed in the most demonic way ever. The three of us looked at him as he started laughing maniacally. I had you all momentarily distracted. Wait, who dis? New kid? He turned toward the boy and started examining him like he did to Virgil before. Robert Squarepants. My friends call me Bob, he responded. Stop telling people you're SpongeBob. Virgil smacked the back of his head. You wanna be grounded? The boy threatened Virgil. I honestly don't understand what's happening anymore. Grounded and you guys cousins or some shit? Remus asked. Yeah, cousins. The words sounded a bit forced, but I don't know the guy, so he could just be overly sarcastic. So, what's your real name? I questioned. Did you not hear me screaming his name? The green one sure did. Virgil laughed. His laugh. Fuck, I'm gay. Demetrius. Remus sounded it out and seemed to be deciding whether he liked the new kid or not. I'm head out. Nice meeting you guys. Demetrius waved and started walking back down the hall with Virgil. Chapter 13. 2 a.m. Remus's point of view. I can't go to sleep. Usually when this happens, I'm thinking about something weird or disgusting, but tonight my last 2 brain cells are only thinking about one thing. Soulmates. Never really wanted to talk about anyone about my soulmate apart from Roman, but his mind is focused on his own. He's been trying to come up with a plan to try to talk to Virgil ever since he met him. Then again, we haven't actually gone into depth conversation about our soulmates since we were 8. Why is this bothering me now? Is it because my brother found his? Why am I thinking so much into this? I need to take a walk. I pulled off my blanket and looked to Roman's bed before stepping onto the soft carpet and moving to my dresser. I put on some black shorts and a green sweater with an octopus on it and quickly got dressed. I looked down at my bare feet. I'll be fine. I moved to the door and opened it before sliding out of my room. I walked down the hallway slightly 'cause I'm sneaky boy and slid down the railing. I stepped to the door to listen to see if I'd woken any of my parental figures up or my share of womb. No noise. I quickly opened the door and hopped outside. I started walking the usual path I took when I was outside at this time, past the woods that I don't bother learning the name of, and the author is too tired to come up with a name for anyway. Through and valley on 5th Street and through the park. I sat down on a random bench and started humming that damn Soulmate song. I heard somewhere that if you start randomly humming your song or some shit, that your soulmate would be thinking of it too. I had this whole connection thing. It's not like they'll like me. I'm me. They won't like me. Little do you know how I'm breaking while you fall asleep. Little do you know I'm still haunted by the memories. Little do you know I'm trying to pick myself up piece by piece. Little do you know I need a little more time. Underneath it all, I'm held captive by the hole inside. I've been holding back for the fear that you might change my mind. I'm ready to forgive you, but forgetting is harder to fight. Little do you know I need a little more time. I'll wait, I love you like you've never felt the pain. I'll wait, I promise you don't have to be afraid. I'll wait, love is here to stay, so lay your head on me. Little do you know I know you're hurt while I'm sound asleep. Little do you know all my mistakes are slowly drowning me. Little do you know I'm trying to make it better piece by piece. Little do you know I love you till the sun dies. I'll wait, I love you like I've never felt the pain. Just wait, I love you like I've never been afraid. Just wait, our love is here and here to stay, so lay your head on me. I'll wait, I love you like you've never felt the pain. I'll wait, I promise you don't have to be afraid. I'll wait, love is here and here to stay, so lay your head on me. Lay your head on me. So lay your head on me, 'cause little do you know I love you till the sun dies. So, soulmates, huh? I didn't bother looking around. I'm not a hopeless romantic like my twin. I'm just hopeless. Mood. Shut up and type the story. I guess. I heard her voice respond from somewhere behind me. You can't see me, right? I asked. Nope. You? They responded. No. Do you want to see me? Not really. Not right now. At least, and the author probably wants to build up suspension in case you're not who the readers think you are. Okay. This seems to be going smoothly. They didn't ask about my fourth wall break. So, what do we do? I don't know. We can meet up here again if you'd like. I thought about that for a moment. Sure, but on one condition. We don't look for each other. I don't want to see you seeing how messed up I am. I think I'm worse, but I accept your conditions. How about tomorrow? Same time. Sure, I better get home, though. Talk to you tomorrow. Oh, soulmate of mine. Ew, that sounded weird. I'll just leave the romantic stuff to my brother. They laughed. It was a bit away, but I could still hear it. And it was cute. I got up from my bench and I looked behind me to make sure nobody was looking. I could faintly see a shadow under a tree, but it was facing away from me. Tomorrow. Wait, is that a raccoon eating a squirrel? Time skip. And there's a raccoon trying to eat a squirrel. Is he even listening to me? Hey, Roman! I looked over to see Roman's friends waving at him. He turned to walk over to them, and since I don't have anything to do right now, I followed him. How was your weekend? It was okay. Not much happened except for Friday's incident. I thought back to Friday and started laughing like a maniac I am. I didn't really hear the rest of the conversation, and I'm too lazy to look at it from the last chapter, but I think I heard something about a new kid. This could be one of your guys' soulmates, Roman exclaimed. Shit, what do? I can't tell them I found my soulmate, especially not Roman. He'll go crazy and ask me boring love questions. Another time skip. Demetra, darling, get back here with my jacket. I heard someone scream from down the hall. Not on my soulmate's dead body. This sounds interesting. I'm gonna check it out. I quickly closed my locket and ran towards where I heard them yelling. I turned the corner and saw someone on the ground and my twin talking to Virgil? I thought Virgil didn't like soulmates. Oh well. I heard screaming. I stopped and screamed as loud as I could. Their shocked faces were priceless. Damn, I left my phone in my locker. I had you all momentarily distracted, I giggled. The person on the ground started getting up, and I actually looked at them. They were wearing a yellow beanie and a Nirvana shirt. Nice. I don't recognize the kid. Who dis? New kid? I asked. Robert Squarepants. My friends call me Bob. He answered, I thought I heard someone say Dementress or some shit. Stop telling people you're SpongeBob. Virgil smacked the backside of his head. You want to be grounded? The new kid said. Grounded? You guys related? Yeah, cousins, he said. I know what it is about him, but I like this guy. So what's your real name? Roman asked. Bro. You didn't hear me screaming it. The green one sure did. He laughed. I could hear Roman's gay thoughts from here. Dementress. I started sounding out the name. What are those thoughts? Why did the new kid interest me all of a sudden? Time skip. I looked at the clock. 1:42 a.m. I got out of bed and quickly put on some clothes over my boxers and went to the window. Another walk? That's 2 nights in a row. Roman mumbled before moving in his bed to face me. I didn't answer him. I just waited to see if he had anything else to say. Spoiler, he did. I don't like you walking around at night. Yeah, I know. I quickly opened the window and crawled onto the roof. I quickly got down and started walking to the park. I sat under the tree. They say the last night and waited. Hey, they mumbled from the other side after a few minutes. Hi. You okay? You don't seem as energetic as you did yesterday. I don't know. I think people call them feelings. It's weird. Weirder than me. They laughed and it actually cheered me up a little. Gross now that I know that Roman feels. Yeah, feelings are weird. You want to know what's weirder, though? I hummed a signal to let them know they could continue talking. I have to be the adult to someone that's older than me. Damn, what's that like? What's what like? Having someone to take care of instead of acting like they care. Why am I getting depressed? I'm sure people don't act like they care. You seem really cool. Thanks. I laughed. I better go. My brother was awake when I left. Oh, later. Later. Chapter 13. Dementress, Virgil's Point of View. Alternate title. And they were roommates. Your father wants to speak to you. One of father's workers, probably Matt or Kevin, said from the other side of the bedroom door. I'll be there in a minute, I said after getting up from my desk. I was doing homework, but that's not important. School doesn't test your knowledge, it tests your memory. Will not slap a bitch. Father will probably just take me under his wing anyway. I took the time. 5:47. Father's usually at a meeting during this time. Wait. I walked through the door into Father's office to see Remy sitting at his desk and the two people from last time, Critic and Camden. Poor Camden still looks like he doesn't want to be there. Virgil, please sit down. I suspect you already know what this is about. Father smiled. I nodded and moved to sit in the chair next to Remy. Bring him in. Camden sighed and left the office. What's this about? My brother asked. I told you a week ago, Rem. Father got a cigar. Father nodded at my statement and turned at the critic dude. You sure this guy is trustable, and he'll fit right in at this school? Father asked. Yep, although he is something. I could say that he is better than who Camden suggested. He doesn't have a few mental health problems and a physical health issue. He examined, just as Camden came in, followed by a boy about my age, who was wearing a black shirt under a yellow jacket, black jeans, yellow Converse, and a black beanie. But what really stood out about him was the bumblebee coloring. It was his face. He had heterokemia, one brown eye, one yellow. Apart from the half of his face looked a little burnt. This is Demetrius. Alright, you're probably both wondering why you would even need a bodyguard. Well, he seemed to think for a moment before continuing what he was saying. The three of you will be staying in a house closer to the school instead of here, so the police decide to go to you boys. You won't be staying with me, and you'll have Demetrius to protect you. He didn't seem very confident in what he was saying, but it made sense, I guess. Now you guys have school on Monday. I suggest you pack so you could go to house with Demetrius. He sighed and dismissed us, and I walked with Remy out of the office. This is so dumb. This guy is obviously younger than me, and we don't even need someone to watch us, Remy complained. What else did you expect? It's father. True. Sunday. Virgil, get off the fridge. We've been here 2 days and you've crawled up there 16 times. Dee yelled at me. You kept track of how many times I'd gone up here? I laughed. Shut the hell up and get down. Dee is cool, I guess. When we first got here, he let us claim our bedrooms and decided that we would be the only one allowed to use the stove and oven. Yeah. Long story. I found out he is a year younger than me, and he is still a bit shorter than me. It's nice to know I can't be called the shortest in the house anymore. Sometimes he gets some phone calls, and he sneaks away to his room for a bit. Strangely enough, I'm not worried about it. What time is it? I asked. It is the sleepy time, so you gotta take your pills. All three of us have insomnia, so he found these gross-ass pills for us to take. I like the gummy stuff a lot more. Remington, Dormeyer, Napoleon, Salmile, Vanta, get your ass down here, I called. Wait, his full name is Remy Sleep, Napoleon Sleep, Vanta? Deep laughed. What? Dormir sleep is in Spanish and somnol means sleep in French, he explained. Kind of ironic that he is an insomniac. "What's up, fuckers?" Remy yelled as he came into the kitchen. "Why do you have my phone?" I asked, pointing to the phone that he was clearly holding, that was mine in his hand. "Fuck you, that's why." "Both of you shut the fuck up and take your pills. Remy, no taking them dry. Virgil, you cannot have the gummy ones. It's these or you're grounded," he explained. "I'm a bad bitch. These pills can't kill me," Remy screamed. "I'm older than you. Why do you get to ground me?" I asked. "Because I'm in charge." "Shit, he right." Time skip. I woke up to some shuffling outside the door, opened my eyes and saw the door. It's not open, so I can't really see anything. I got up and listened for any suspicious noises, but all I heard was humming. I opened the door a bit to watch Dee pacing up and down the hallway. His phone started ringing and made him jump a bit. "Hey, Willow. How you doing?" he asked after answering. "Willow, who are they?" "I was not pacing. I was just, scrolling through Tumblr." Liar. There was silence from him for a while, probably the person talking, before he finally said something. "Soulmates. What about them? Have you met yours?" His face seemed to darken a bit before he smiled. "That's great. I hope I get to meet this Olive soon. I gotta go. Later." He hung up and slid down the wall he was leaning on, so he was sitting on the floor. I decided I should come out of hiding. I walked over to him, probably looking drunk because I was still tired. "You okay?" "How much of that did you hear?" He didn't answer my question. "I saw you pacing a few minutes ago. Who was that?" "Someone. Leave me alone." He tried pushing me away, but didn't get very far before giving up. "You must be really close to them if you're having this reaction to them, finding their soulmate. You okay?" I attempted asking the question again, but instead of answering it, he just stood up and started walking down the hall. "I'm going for a walk," he called after grabbing his keys. "But you're still in your And he's gone. I sighed and walked back to my room. Morning time skip. "Get your asses up and I'm making eggs and toast." Why are people always waking me up so goddamn early? I sighed and started rolling out of bed, falling on the floor with my blanket. I tried rolling to the door, but gave up after 2 seconds. "Help! I'm trapped in my cocoon of love." Dee walked into my room and helped me out of my blanket. "Come on. I made food and someone's gonna FaceTime me in a bit." What's with him suddenly being the happiest person on earth? "Is this the person I caught you talking to last night?" I asked as we walked into the dining room. "Maybe. You want to meet her?" I nodded and sat next to Remy and started eating a toast on my plate. Times get brought to you by the Sand Guardian of the Sand. Breakfast was over and Dee's phone began to ring. He held it out in front of us and answered. "Demetrius Dalian, I missed seeing your half-burnt face." The person had pale skin and a lot of freckles that brought out their dark blue eyes. They had their hair cut in a bob with the ends dyed a bright cyan. They spotted me and Remy and seemed to curl in on themselves a bit before Dee started speaking. "Willow, this is Remy and Virgil, the people I am guarding. Guys, this is Willow. She, her pronouns." He explained. I gave her a 2-finger salute, and he started talking again. "So, who's the soulmate of yours?" "Her name's Olive. She's pretty and goes to the same college as me. I'm walking to the place where she's supposed to meet me right now. I'm really nervous." "My neighbor's name is Olive," he mumbled. "It'll be fine. Speaking of soulmates, I met mine last night." "You did?" Willow, Remy, and I all asked. He blushed a bit, probably more at the sudden attention, and seemed to be looking for a way to change the subject. Hey, look at the time. You really ought to be heading to school. Love you, later. He hung up, stood up, and started walking to the door. Yo, I can't legally drive yet, so one of you has to drive us to school. I looked at Remy, since he had his learner's permit. Fine, babes. He grabbed the car keys Father had left with us and started out the door 3-inch heels. How's he going to drive in those things on? Time skip brought to you by Remus not being allowed to read these chapters and read work ahead. Dementor Stallion, get back here with my jacket! I screamed as I chased him down the halls. Not on my soulmate's dead body! He screamed as he turned down the other hallway. I don't even fucking know his soulmate. I turned down the hall to see him falling down with Roman in front of him. I ran down the hall and grabbed my jacket. I'll take that. I looked up at my soulmate awkwardly and said, Thanks for being in the way, Roman. I'll take that as a compliment. Don't think too far into it. I still don't want to deal with you. Progress is progress. Progress? I questioned. You're actually talking to me. I let out a little chuckle and slid my coat back on. I looked down at Dee and held out my hand to him. Dee brushed himself off and looked at Roman. Who is this? Do I need to kill him? He asked before I could respond. Someone came and jumped up and down in front of the 3 of us. I heard screaming, he yelled. Then, out of nowhere, he screeched, almost as demonic as Remy without Starbucks. The 3 of us looked at him, and he started laughing maniacally. I had you all momentarily distracted. Wait, who dis? New kid? He looked at Dee and started walking around him, looking up and down at him. Robert Squarepants. My friends call me Bob. Dee responded. OMFG, this boy! Stop telling people you're SpongeBob. I hit the back of his head. You want to be grounded? He threatened again. Grounded? You guys cousins or some shit? The green one asked. I really need to learn this one's name. Yeah, cousins, Dee responded quickly. So what's your real name? The annoying princely person asked. You didn't hear me screaming this name? The green one sure did. I laughed. Dementress. The green one started zoning out while mumbling the name. Fuck this shit. I'm out. Dee said something to them before walking with me back to our lockers. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and hit that like button. You could go into the description for all my social media links. I encourage you to join my Discord and follow my Wattpad. And please check out the author and the book to support them. I also have a Google form below to recommend Wattpad reloads for me to read in the future, as long as a link to my second YouTube channel where I go live and post random videos, because I can. Thank you so much for listening, and, like always, do your best.